Hey, what is up guys, and welcome for a new video for Strangers of Paradise. Today's build is a very special one as I have been working on this for a long time, getting the correct items to make the powerful samurai build. Katanas are such an amazing weapon to use in the game, because it's just how powerful they really are. Also, they have some of the coolest abilities in the game, with the breaker job having you summon a huge katana blade and slice everything in your path. Making a samurai build was super fun. We will also be using a really powerful katana that is one of the strongest in the game. If you guys enjoyed the video and like what you see, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future builds. With that, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so the jobs we will be using is the breaker and the berserker. The breaker job is going to be your main damage dealer, then your berserker job will be used to get all your buffs and effects. So the breaker job's main ability is to slash through enemies by summoning a giant blade. You can increase the damage by charging up the attack, but we won't need to charge it at all since we'll be hitting the max damage of 10,000. You can however increase the base damage that you deal if you do happen to charge the attack. The ability can cover quite a bit of space, but its range is still very small. Make sure you're really up close to pull it off. It's one of the strongest abilities in the game because of its effect to soul burst enemies who have been killed or broken by this ability, which makes up for the fact that it costs 2 bars of MP to use. It's a great way to take out multiple enemies at once and have them be soul bursted along with it to gain both MP and increase your MP limit as well. Let's now have a look at our weapons and gear. The weapon that I used for the build is the Suzaki Muramasa. The weapon can be farmed at the Ebon Memories, the Power Hungry, found at the Sunken Shrine. As of right now, I have only gotten this weapon from this area. If you want the best and most consistent damage, then this weapon will be your best choice. You could use any katana that you want, it's totally up to you. Other reason I use this katana is because of the weapon's ability it offers. Ren Goku and the other weapon ability are really fun to use. Now, the reason why the katanas are really strong is because of their move Senshin stance. If you are unaware, holding the light attack button, which is R1, will cause you to enter the Senshin stance. While you're in the stance, you can chain your light attacks infinitely. There is no combo ender during your Senshin stance light attacks. Combo abilities can be activated freely during the stance and can be chained into one another, with each ability increasing in power. You can chain together any of your abilities in the order you set in your combo abilities section. You can set up 3 combo abilities in whatever order you choose. You can also enter the Senshin stance easily as with the combo ability Garo. Upon using the ability, you will automatically enter the stance without having to use the hold R1 light attack, which is why I have set all 3 of my combo enders to Garo so I can enter the stance whenever I want to. The abilities you set during your stance will be launched in the order that you set them. Once you activate your third ability, if you chain again, it will automatically go back to your first ability and repeat the process. You can pull off some really cool things like this. Here is the setup I use for my 3 abilities to give the full samurai feel. First going into the fancy attack, then we summon a giant blade followed by the super amazing weapon ability. It's not the most damaging setup, but it surely is satisfying to pull off. If you're wanting the most damage setup, then you should go for all 3 abilities as Hana Arashi. For my test, it's the most damage. The MP cost to pull off these cool abilities is super high, costing in at 7 bars of MP to pull off all 3 abilities at once. If you think it's not possible without Chaos Bringer, then you will be wrong. You can pull all these 3 abilities near constantly chaining into one another, and you can even chain them indefinitely. In order to chain these abilities constantly without using Chaos Bringer, is the action ability MP cost, and the special effects of your weapons and gear pieces. We use the special effect on our gear pieces to reduce the cost of all our abilities except command abilities, making it super easy to pull off all those crazy attacks. I have gotten my ability cost reduced by 47.5%, almost 50%, meaning all my abilities now cost only half the amount of MP that's originally required. On your gear pieces, try and get as much action ability MP cost. With that, let's go over some of the job affinities that you will need. Once again, getting Dark Knight affinity to 400% to use the last resort is pretty much standard at this point, just for how powerful it really is. The job and weapon all offer near dead damage bonuses, so they will always be active. Then the next one being the Berserker to 250% for Savage Awakening. Having Shell and Protect will allow you to tank almost any damage in the game. Then you will need Samurai to at least 120% to get the MP ability cost bonuses. The Breaker to 120% as well would be very useful as you will get more MP when you soul burst enemies. We will be soul bursting almost every single enemy that we encounter, so it'll be really good if you can try and get this one. Those are the only important ones you will need. For the secondary job, which is our Berserker, we will also need to get 2 affinities that are required. Firstly, the White Mage to at least 120%, so we can get the 2 increased buff durations. Then the second being the Samurai to at least 250% to get the power of Perseverance. This will give you a good damage boost when you chain cancel. The chain cancel is basically using an ability and then quickly changing your job to get that chain cancel effect. Use the Berserker job to proc all your command abilities, and then once you're ready, activate Berserk, then quickly change your job to get that chain cancel bonus. You will know if you did it right if you see the sword icon, which represents the damage boost. Now let's look at the command abilities. Firstly, we'll use Lunatic to get us a good amount of attack speed. All the abilities on the Katana are pretty so have that attack speed boost is pretty essential. Then we get Mighty Strikes to give us more attack power while also making all our attacks become weakness attacks on the enemies. Then for the important one being the Lancet. This will have you gain health and magic when you attack enemies' weaknesses. Since we are using Mighty Strikes, we will have that active all the time. Also, the higher the damage you do, the more health and magic you will recover. This is super important because during your Senshin stance, you cannot recover MP while attacking. Spamming your light attacks during the stance do not count as normal attacks. Without this, you will not get any mana whatsoever. The Lancet is also the reason how we can change the action abilities near infinitely. When you hit the enemies with the abilities, you'll be able to get all that MP straight back, allowing you to change them as long as you're hitting the enemies. Let's quickly go over the master points we used. We get 10 points into strength, 5 points into ability break damage, 10 points into both near death damage dealt and near death damage taken, 10 points into soul burst MP recovery, 10 points into break damage taken, 10 points into action ability MP cost, and then last 4 points into buff duration. That is it for the build, guys. It's a lot that I had to cover to make sure everyone knows what is actually going on. It is a really strong build and Katanas are such a fun weapon to play with. There is still a lot more that make the Breaker class even more useful for this build. Your third link combo ender will always soul burst the enemies who have been killed or broken with the attack. The third ability on your Senshin stance will also soul burst, as well as your main action ability, which is summoning a big katana, will also soul burst the enemies. This is the strongest build for both bosses and mobs. It's more fun to fight mobs as you can just see everything shatter and you can actually keep spamming the giant blade because of how cheap it really is. Upon using the ability, you can gain that MP straight back, making it look like it costed you nothing. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. Do you guys enjoy using katanas? And if so, which weapon ability do you like on them? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you all. I will catch you all next time.